Okay, today I think we're going to change out some gear and tanking a few dungeons. Okay, let's see. Chain strength. This is a problem. We have so many items, and your bags are just always full. Hey Steven, what's going on? Actually, you know, that window. Just watched earlier stream VOD. Oh, nice. Yeah, today I'm going to mess around with Shaman Tanking on Era. See how that goes. I need to get stuff on my stream set up more so I don't have to constantly be messing around with stuff. It's kind of annoying. You want to know how come no one is talking more about Fear of Storm Range Rune? It sounds really good. I think it's gonna be one of those situational ones, you know? Like I feel like people aren't talking about it as much because it's kind of it'll have its place, but I don't know how much people will just use it like, you know, often. Let's see, what do I want?
Dabu.
Oh, cool. Didn't know you were streaming, Evan. Yeah, I'm going to try and stream every day between now and launch of Season of Discovery. And then I'll obviously just stream all the time when I'm playing. Mostly thinking about hybrid PvP. Yeah, I think if you're in a group setting that Rune would be pretty good, but excuse me. I think in a group setting that Rune would be pretty good, but I think like playing by yourself, I just don't think you're gonna be able to get off as many wrath casts as you want to make it useful. Am I gonna main druid in Season of Discovery? Yeah, my main will be a druid, and then I'm gonna have a shaman as my alt.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, cool to see you again. You taught me everything, druid. Nice, man. Appreciate it. Okay, let's...
Go with honor.
Hey, Naomi, how's it going? This is the longest 23 days? Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I mean, like, I was very surprised about BlizzCon that they even announced that it was gonna be so soon. I could have seen them saying, like, you know, later this year or several months, but the fact that it was, you know, within 30 days of the announcement was pretty crazy. Trying to just tank something. I don't really want to do Upper Blackrock Spire. I've done that so many times. That's what's... the wait is killing me, but gives me time to prep with my guild. Nice. Yeah, my guild is like... My guild I think is going to be playing, but I don't really know. I've been trying to kind of look for a group that's kind of taking it seriously. Because I mean, Era's fun and all, but I probably like I want to focus on Season of Discovery because I think it's going to be a lot of fun and something different. And I think my guild is kind of looking at Season of Discovery more as kind of like a secondary thing to do just on the side. What classes are looking strongest so far PvP wise? I would say at 25. I would say at 25, the caster classes are still going to be kind of lacking just because you don't have much spell power at that level. And melee damage just at low levels is always so strong. Like if you think about low level strength and like even twinking at like level 19, it's always like rogues, hunters, classes that can benefit from all the low level gear just because there's not much spell power. But I mean, they have the raid and they're going to have raid gear, so there might be enough spell power on those items to make it feel meaningful. Hey Zakipu, when SOD launches, it'll be 1 hour till Gurabashi. Who's rushing it? Yeah, I didn't want to say too much, but I have some plans for that. Did they say what time SOD launches? I didn't see that somewhere. That would be nice to know. I know, like in the past, they always kind of do something at like, well, oftentimes it's like 12 a.m. You've been playing Rumble? I saw them announce stuff for that at BlizzCon. It looked kind of fun. Rumble is a lot of fun. Okay, interesting. Not usually a mobile gamer. You have more hours in it than you care to admit. Maybe I'll have to download it and give it a shot. I never pay for anything, so as long as I can play a mobile game and not feel like I have to pay, then I'm okay with that. Even if I'm not like doing great at it or whatever, I just don't want to pay money for anything on a mobile game. I feel like that's a slippery slope. Also, howdy. Hey man, what's going on? Based off 2019 Classic, TVC Classic, and what? Yeah, all at the same time. Yeah, that's kind of what I was assuming you were getting the time from. Yeah, I'd assume it probably is that same launch window. But then also the hour difference that you're saying for Gurabashi, also it depends too on what time zone server you're playing in, right? So that can change it a little bit. The whole thing about Gurabashi is like taking the time to run there as a druid kind of sucks because I don't start in the, like, if you start in the orc starting area, it's so fast to get to Gurabashi. But as a druid, I would hope that I would be able to get to like level 12 in the Barrens before I'd need to get there. So I'd need like 2 hours to get to level 12. I think I can get to level 12 in like hour and a half. I think that's what it is, right? Or just, no, maybe it's more. I can't remember anymore how long it takes to level at that low stuff. Rumble is pretty free to play friendly. Okay, good. Feels good even without paying so far. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's one thing I don't want to deal with. Heard you mention something about not being able to get Gnomish, Goblin Engineering and SOD. Why wouldn't you be able to? So there's like a quest that you have to do to accept Gnomish or Goblin Engineering. And I believe it's like, I'm pretty sure you have to be like level 30. But there is an item out there that you can get. It's a recipe, and I believe gnomes will be able to get it. It's the underwater helm. I think you buy it from a vendor in like Ashara. Druid is cancer slow to level on fresh server. At least the first 10 levels. Yeah, I think it's in the past, like before classic launch, I practiced a route a lot of times and kind of got kind of a route down for things and knowing what to do. So I'm pretty confident in leveling pretty fast. Like on all the other servers that I've like I played the hardcore beta server when it first came out, and I was like one of the highest level players. Um, so have you tried Warrior? That's slow. I mean, I'd say the slowest thing from 1 to 10, in my opinion, or at least feels really slow, is Hunter without a pet. It's so annoying. Okay. This person has been looking. The water totem quest will be a rough one with Ashenvale being the hotspot. Um, let's see, hold on. What level is this person? 60 mage. Um, I don't know about the water totem quest being an issue. I think so many people are like, it depends on like if you're leveling your shaman early, then I don't think it's going to be a problem. If you're leveling your shaman like a few weeks in, like as an alt, then I think it will probably be kind of an issue. I think what's faster this way. Hopefully with the start area rune will make leveling much faster. Yeah, I'm wondering, I heard someone had said like you get your first rune, like your class trainer will kind of send you in the direction of runes like at level 2, which is a lot faster than I figured. I thought it was going to be like level 10, you know. I'm worried about paladins being OP with Crusader and Divine Storm. Yeah, I think I think it's one. I don't know, guys. I think it's one of those things where, like, they'll make changes if they need to with the classes if they feel that broken. I don't know. It's hard. So many people are complaining, and I mean, I'm complaining about certain things too, but a lot of us are complaining about stuff that one we haven't even been able to play with, and then two we don't know what's coming out later. The paladin stuff could be kind of like front loaded, right? Like paladin feels super strong, but then more classes start getting really strong runes later at like level 40 and 50. So I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but it does seem like they have a really strong kit. I'm gonna help this guy solo some stuff in BRD for a quest that he has. What do you think about hunters in SOD? I am maining a hunt. I don't want, or I don't know. Will it be good? And also, I see some melee buffs. Will it work? Thanks for the answer. I mean, I think I think hunters seem strong so far with the runes that they've showed us. Um, I think my only concern for hunters is just that their runes are a little bit lackluster, right? They're more like flat damage buffs or crit buffs, um, with a little bit less flavor. Um, but also we might see some, like, I was thinking about this. We didn't see any trap. We didn't see any runes with dealing with traps, right? I think it's because, let me check too, so I'm not saying the wrong thing. To delete all these layers. Hold on. Enter. Let me show my screen on this. So we don't have any. Yeah, we have no trap um things for hunter, and I know hunter's traps don't really become used as much until later levels, right? So I would see I see hunters being one of those classes that maybe is kind of boring right now, but is going to get a lot of exciting runes later as the game progresses. That's the hard part about like talking about the game right now, is we just don't really know what's in store for later on. Just kind of the whole point of the server, or like the whole name of it being Season of Discovery. It's one of those things that we're in the dark on a lot of stuff. So we can complain about how one class feels right now, but it might be completely different later on.
Strength and honor.
Yeah, first rune is at level 2. Yeah, that's crazy to me. But I mean, that'll make. I mean, that's a good thing too, though, because it like allows you to start getting familiarized with the rune system and also just having some fun in the game at a, like right away with the new systems and stuff. Their list of consumes for pre 25. No, that's a good question though. I don't think the raid is going to be that difficult that you really need to like do much outside of maybe bring a few like mana pots. Um because seeing people do it in the BlizzCon stuff, it seemed pretty easy. But also, those people had pretty good gear. If you look, a lot of them were um, in what essentially would be like pre-raid bis. And someone said in one of my videos that the Trip Runner dungarees or whatever they're called, the ones from Nomergon, the blue pants, that those characters had those pants. So, I mean, they have really good gear. And still some of the people in the streams were like dying and whatnot. So we'll see how hard the encounters are, but I don't know how much you have to prepare for things. Someone's got to be best at the level. So paladin, yeah, I think paladin obviously will be really strong at 25, but also any classes that have any escapes from a paladin. So like a blink with a mage, kiting with any other classes, like if the paladin can't connect to you, you're fine. So as long as you can get away, what's the paladin gonna do? So I think paladin sounds really strong on paper, but still stacks up to the same stuff with kiting and everything. Faction imbalance likely to be an issue for each server. Why doesn't Blizz just get rid of the whole server system and use layers to balance? I mean, like, I think that would probably be the best idea, Matthew, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how things are going to go or what their plans are. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the faction imbalance, especially if they are so focused on doing stuff in the world, faction balance is obviously very important. Druids are always good. That's the law. Part when they mention that your quest trainer gives you a quest at level 2. Yeah. Okay. You don't like the shaman runes? I think the shaman runes look pretty good. I wish they buffed weaker priest racials, but doubt that will happen. Yeah, I doubt it. It's just kind of like the racials for different races too. Like you're still gonna. It seems like they're not changing like human racials or orc racials, so you're still going to have warriors probably prioritizing those races. Seems like rogue is most OP for 25. I think rogue's going to be pretty good. Yeah. Rogue OP with everyone being a tank. I don't know how many people will play tank in PvP though, right? Like they might find it just kind of underwhelming. Like yeah, if you can live for a long time, then that's cool and all, but like you need to get kills. So most of them are focused on enhanced tanking or dual wield. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the shaman runes though are pretty strong. Like even if you don't want to play enhance, like you can play around with the runes that give you some more survival and still be playing like Resto or Ellie. Like there's a lot of mana regen talents, so I personally think that like playing Resto in a group setting in PvP would be a lot of fun. The range combo builder and finisher is too much. Yeah, I'm a little scared with rogues not being able to be kited very well. Like a hunter, if a rogue gets on a hunter, then a hunter really has to try to get the rogue off, right? Like feign death trapping and getting some distance. But with that, those range combo points and stuff from a rogue, I don't know. It's going to be hard unless hunters at higher levels get some really good like escape techniques, ways to get out of stuff. Like a disengage, I would say that disengage is a pretty like good one that they could have. Showbacks right there. I'm not the spec to try and PvP, guys. Let's get ready for it though. Going into the mountain. Do we keep Stylanes? I think we keep Stylanes. Okay. Some classes are going to have problems gearing up for phase 1. Yeah. You're in between Warlock and Rogue. Any advice? Both sound like a lot of fun. I think Rogue is going to be... Again, guys, I'm completely just talking out of my ass. I don't really know, but I would say that Rogue seems like it'll be more fun at 25, and Warlock will be a little bit more fun at the higher levels when you start getting a little bit more spell power and stuff. Just my 2 cents. But you got to realize, like, if you are really set on playing a certain class and you get to level 25 and you just feel kind of weak and you're not having fun, just realize that level 40 or level 50 or level 60 could completely change your class. So I wouldn't don't give up on a class just because it doesn't feel like quite as strong as other classes. That would just be my kind of way of looking at it. Don't worry too much. Guaranteed there'll be an add-on to made to find all the runes before you're 25. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try and stay away from that stuff as much as I can. On alts, I probably would use something like that, but on my main, I really want to find this stuff on my own, or at least it'd be cool. Here's what I think would be a happy medium: is like it'd be cool if there was an add-on that kind of gave you some breadcrumbs or like hints at where to kind of like go to check on things, so you're not just like completely in the dark. But to just straight up tell you, it seems kind of like, I don't know, ruins the immersion of stuff. S1 said a dev told him that they didn't tune the abilities yet, so the damage will probably be lower. Okay. Yeah, I know he on his stream he was doing a ton of damage, but also he had that Pally quest, the quest mace, which is just very, very good. Have you thought about the potential best raid composition in the 10-man BRD? No, did they say something about 10-man BRD? I haven't heard about that. uh, oh, he's actually gonna fight. Okay. Come on. I'm just gonna run. Yeah, this spec definitely you don't want to PvP with it. Just Blackrock Mountain things. You're excited for Balanced Druid. You think the free Wrath will be enough to solve the mana issues? We'll have to see. If you're going to be using Wrath and Raids, you're going to have to be stacking Spell Pen, especially for like AQ, because there's more nature resist. And so that's going to be an issue. Who knows how they'll change things like that. Am I going to play Druid in SOD? Yes, I'll be playing Druid as my main character. Shaman will be my alt. Locks will be busted, trust me. Yeah, I think later in the game, locks are going to be really strong. Even at 25, they probably will be strong, but I just don't think they're going to be quite as strong as they will be later. Let's face it, our biggest nemesis is locks and Curse of Tongues, and they will be broken. Yeah, locks is locks and Curse of Tongues is like the most annoying thing in the game, probably. Like just nerfing most classes that have to rely on casting by 50% is pretty crazy. Depending on your guild, you're gonna go Shaman for Horde or Rogue for Alliance. Nice. Yeah, Shaman looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. The 100% mana cost removal means if you spam Wrath, your mana cost starts ticking again. Or your mana can start ticking again. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, it's not putting you on the MP5 lockout. Thanks for your 2 cents, mate. Yeah, for sure. Scared about Warlocks, Paladins, and Elemental Shamans because of the proc and the Lava Blast. Yeah, I mean... We'll see with all the different classes and just like tuning and everything. In the Wowhead interview that they did with a developer, they basically said like we are looking to make changes, or like we're looking to do balance changes like when necessary. Like we understand that the classes will never be, you know, like truly balanced. It's classic, but like if anything's too like stands out as too overpowered, they're gonna tune it. So the Shaman rune when you flame shock 100%. What's this guy doing? Okay. I have no food and water. Guess I'll just take a potion so I don't die. Sorry, the Shaman rune that when you flame shock, 100% of healing will turn into damage, will be busted too. Imagine a heal and spam heals for 10 seconds. That will be one shot. Yeah. I mean, there's some really crazy things out there. The 15% crit chance rune for mages is getting nerfed 100%. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say, to be honest. On a lot of these changes, like they sound like 15% crit chance sounds absolutely busted, right? However, if like you give a rogue 30% increased damage, or you give hunter 25% increased crit chance, like if you're buffing all the classes, then all of a sudden buffing one, like the one buff to one class doesn't seem quite as strong anymore, right? So it's like, it's kind of like that to me. Everything looks good so far except for rogue tank. Makes no sense. An ally getting Wind Fury Tremor, but Horde getting nothing in return. Yeah, I think later on Horde will probably, let me ask. Going for it. I don't know what his plan is here. Rogue tank, I mean, to me personally, like they already said that they wanted to do like a swashbuckler thing for rogue back in the day with like shields, so it kind of makes sense to me. But I think they should have just given rogues a shield then and did it that way. But who knows? What do I think the best PvP specs? At 25, I really think it's going to be Hunter. I think the best things at 25 is going to be Hunter, Shaman, Druid, and Rogue, probably. I also think Warrior is going to be pretty strong, but with a group. Like, I think Warrior, you need to play with someone. And now Paladin, I think is going to be strong, but I don't think it's going to be quite as like overpowered as some people think, because at that level, besides like being able to hodge someone, like people are going to be able to get some distance from you, right? Like even if you connect, let's say on like a warlock, the warlock's going to fear you, and then they're going to have distance. You don't have really any gap closers, and you don't have a mount at that level either. So I feel like while pallies will be strong, I don't think they're going to be like gods like people think. You'll be going some kind of tri-spec shaman tanky build for PvP. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like cool options for shamans when it comes to how they can set things up. Like I think elemental devastation will be really fun with like with a build that you're having, you know, a little bit more of a hybrid spec. He's gonna die, he's gonna die. That's crazy. They need to give Shaman a bop at least. Yeah, I think if they give Shaman, um, the problem is they're trying to give stuff for PvE, right? Like they like Shaman's bop is essentially NS heal, right? I know it doesn't equal the same, but when you look at how Shaman and Pally stack up in a sense of like fantasy and like stuff on both sides of board and alliance, it's like Shaman is more offensive stuff and Pally is more defensive stuff. So I feel like you can't just give everything to them and have it be okay. Um, you still got to keep like something specific to each class. Like I doubt Paladin will get a NS, but maybe they will. Who knows? But I would be surprised if they did that. So I don't know. We'll see what they decide to do. But to me, the one thing that is pretty strong in PvP that I feel like would be nice for Shaman to have would be the I'm trying to think of freedom, because now like Wind Fury, like a warrior and a paladin would be strong because they had the warrior had freedom, so he had more uptime. But on Horde side, it's like you have Wind Fury totem with a shaman. But now on Alliance side, you have Wind Fury with a cat, and you have freedom. So like in PvP, warriors who are like playing with those two classes are going to be like what are you gonna do? You know, they're just running at you with freedom, and they're just destroying you. With that cat druid being close by, so hopefully they'd give something for shamans, like some sort of freedom totem or something. Or they just make it so that like when you drop down a certain totem, like it also like pulses and removes snares or something like that. Enhance has a talent in Wrath, Earthbind pulsing and removing slows. Oh, okay, so yeah, they could just basically have that one. They probably have plans for something similar to that, but they just don't have it in the game yet. I think there's a lot of things like that that people are worried about for the different classes, but they just don't have them implemented yet. How long do I think the time gate will be at 25? Someone said like one of the developers said something like weeks, and then they were like, I think this was when they were doing the raid and they were all talking, and then someone had said one of the people that was streaming, maybe it was Guzu, said something like, oh, weeks, like, and then they came back with like, oh, like month, like maybe more like a month, so probably like a month and a half, 2 months. I don't know, that's what I would assume, but I think they'll just play it by ear with like what feels like people are starting to, you know, stop playing. Like when they have a lot of the player base at 25 and people aren't logging in as much, they'll probably go to the next phase. Gearing with a group or guild will be super fun with level caps. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun too because there's going to be pieces of gear out there that are hard to obtain just by yourself. But if you're with a group of people and you can help them get a piece, then they can help you get a piece. And maybe some of the runes are harder to get, or you have to venture into something a little bit more gnarly. And being able to play with some friends would be awesome for that. Oh, Naoli, where you're trying to link something. I don't think it will let you link in YouTube. Why isn't that mage healing it? Exactly. I need to see some first aid. Needs to start practicing. You assume they're going to give Storm Strike and Wind Fury Totem early to Shaman? I don't think so. I think they're going to keep. I think they're going to keep that in line with how it was. To be honest. Going back to rogue tanks in RPGs, dodge, evasion tanks are pretty common, so I could see them drawing inspiration from that. Yeah, and I mean, like right now, even when if you have a rogue that's geared and he pops evasion on a boss or something because he pulled aggro, like there's a good chance he's going to survive. So already you can kind of quote unquote tank a boss for like the evasion cooldown. Ali gonna go so hard. Yeah, I mean, I think Alliance is gonna be really strong. But I think Horde are like. Thing is, okay, so say the population is pretty one-sided. All they have to do is add a few nice runes that benefit Horde, and then you have automatically you have the population that will kind of equal itself out a bit or tune things a little bit here and there. I don't know. The population stuff does kind of worry me a bit, though. Yeah, Gnome is nice for the engineering stuff early on. There's only like again, you guys have to realize you can't like, you're not going to have a higher level character that can craft some of these goblin and gnomish items. So the higher level engineering for gnome only matters for one or two items. They're not going to have quite as many things as people think. You hope Moonkin gets a rune so they can use resto spells. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? I think level 40 will be interesting to see. At level 40, I'm interested to see Moonkin runes and Shadow Priest runes. I think at level 40, some of the casters are going to be excited by, the stuff that they can get. Do I think enhancement will be blasting more with the two-handed with the new spec runes? I mean, we'll have to see with just what comes out like as players level, Historically, PvP servers have been okay, as much as 60-40 Alley Horde. Yeah. You're okay with population skewing towards Alliance, faster BGQs? Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It'll be interesting too, though, to see how much, to see how much they put on world PvP versus battlegrounds. Like, it sounds like they really want to focus on the world, and so who knows what they're even going to do with battlegrounds. Like, you can get, for example, Warsong Gulch rep in Ashenvale. So, and I don't know if anywhere they've actually said that Warsong Gulch will be in the game. I hope it is, but who knows? Can't decide between Shaman, Rogue, Hunter. Well, I mean, I will say that I think any of those... Hey, nice, you got it. I think any of those are a good option. Let me see. Nice, dude. They said honor system is in the game, so I think Warsong Gulch will be too. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I know that they said the honor system is going to be in the game, but I'm just not sure. They haven't. I don't know. They just were saying how much they want world PvP to be a thing, and they have the Ashenvale zone. So I just was less certain on the Warsong thing, but it would go in line with like Ashenvale and the Warsong faction and everything. So. Should watch the interview with Crix. Yeah, okay. So I saw that that was on his channel. I just haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Your guess is 2 months for phase one. Yeah, I could see it being around that much. I hope it's not like too short, basically. I have no room. I need there. Hope Season of Discovery is coming to hardcore. Sadly, it doesn't. For those that love hardcore, it doesn't sound like it. They have stated that they have no plans as of now to do that. I read that in one of their articles. This weapon proc, so when you get Flurry and this 30% attack speed proc, and I can pop Berserking, I hit so, my attack speed is so fast, guys, it's crazy. They said you'd gain rep with Warsong faction. It wouldn't make sense for it to be there without the Warsong BG. I agree, like lore wise and everything, and the fact that they're making it that zone, that would make sense actually. What talents am I using for tanking? This is the talent setup. I mean, that's the thing, guys. Like, Shaman Tanking already is pretty fun in Era. Like, not many people do it, just because it's kind of... It's definitely harder to manage mobs and everything like that, but it's a lot of fun, and I don't really have problems holding threat, even with people that are just as geared as me. The problem is just not having a dedicated taunt, right? Like, that's kind of the thing about tanking, is not having a taunt makes things kind of rough. Yeah, I'm not sure about what hit you'd need as a warlock tank, or if they're gonna have some talents for that, something to make it a little bit easier. See, like if I lose threat on something, I basically just need to use. I have to use like Earth Shock to try and get ahead, but besides that, it's not too bad. Also, you need to make sure you don't let your weapon enchant drop. You hate how nameplates are only 20 yards in Classic? Yeah, that part of things makes playing, especially ranged, makes it a little bit annoying. Yeah, the Earth Shock being melee range only for tanks if they use that rune, I don't know. It's not horrible though, because like you can then still use your other shocks and stuff. That the thing about the hit stuff that concerns me though, like with a spell, like a caster for like Warlock or whatever, is I don't want someone to feel like they're giving up on a bunch of tanking gear because they're having to prioritize like hit gear. That's always kind of frustrating. So, I don't know. Even with Shaman, that's the annoying part. Like not having Nature's Guidance with this build, you have to look at getting all your hit from gear. And when you're tanking a Shaman, in Era at least, it's like you want your melee hit, but then you also want your spell. You like spell hit is also very nice, so it's like makes things kind of rough. These destroyers do so much damage, it's actually ridiculous. You hope Tarn Mill will be the PvP event we see, like we've seen in SOD Ashenvale. Yeah, the problem though is like I feel like the next PvP area is going to be near the other bosses. Like I forget who in the chat said this the other day, but they made a good point. So Ashenvale is kind of the hub for the zone at 25, right? It's or the hub for the game at 25. You have the world PvP, you have the raid, and then at level 40, people are saying maybe we'll get both Nomer and SM because Nomer is an alliance zone and SM is in a horde zone, so it still gives that like cross faction feel. Oh, he just went for it. He just went for it. Okay. The problem is though. This is the problem, is like with a Shaman tank, you really want to be able to pull. But these guys are definitely a lot less geared, so it's easier for me to hold. I have no grenades. Sad. Fire res totem is broken against them? Yeah, that's definitely something I need to be putting down for sure. Not having grenades here for me is really bad too, because I want to use Fire Nova to try and help generate some threat against these mobs. However, if I haven't hit them at all, they're just gonna kill my Fire Nova totem. Too bad these aren't worth like anything anymore. Okay, mage hit. I can at least do it now. Love your Druid Classic PvP videos. Thanks, man. Yeah, hope to have a lot more Druid videos to come. I don't have a Druid on this server, so I can't play Druid. So when I live stream right now, everyone just sees me playing Shaman. They keep asking, like, oh, are you done with Druid? No, I just... Let's see, backtrack to... I didn't copy my Druid over to Era servers, right? And so when Era servers kind of started popping off again, I was like, hey, I'm going to jump back in and play. But I was like, I'll play something different this time. So that's why I rolled Shaman. Definitely enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, but it'll be fun to go back to Druid for SOD. I wonder how good it would be to use Hand of Edward the Odd, like, to get free lightning bolts. You know, that might be kind of fun. Wrathy Highlands. Yeah, that'd be a good zone for kind of both factions to PvP in for the higher level stuff. Wish I could actually be part of the stream, but I'm out celebrating my birthday today. Nice, dude. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Definitely go enjoy that. See, when I use Hand of Edward the Odd in PvP, it seems like it actually procs quite a bit. But when I play with it, like, it almost feels like it has a different proc rate against, like, NPC enemies, like game enemies, versus players, if that makes sense. Is weird. I don't know. See, I haven't got a single proc, so I don't really think it's worth it. See, guys, I think I might try and... It's Tuesday. Feral Druid with 30% movement speed is going to be great. Yeah, and the Moonfire, Sunfire ability. I think PvP on a like a Feral hybrid is going to be a lot of fun in the beginning phases. And then I think Moonkin's going to be... I think Moonkin at 40 is going to be a lot of fun, guys. I'm really excited for Moonkin. We'll have to see what kind of stuff they introduce for Moonkin. But I know someone above mentioned maybe a rune for Moonkin to be able to heal in Moonkin form. That would be so awesome, but I feel like that would just be like mandatory for PvP then as a healer, because the armor that you get in Moonkin form is just so crazy. Like for example, in TBC, there's twos comps where you literally play like a hybrid. You like play all the way down to Moonkin form, and you just like roll hots, and then you sit in Moonkin form when you're not having to, you know, hot people up. So I don't know. The armor is super strong. Just sad Druid doesn't scale with weapons. Yeah. Ooh, also someone mentioned the other day, like what we need to do, guys, is we need to compile some radical, like crazy Druid ideas for a video. Because someone mentioned something that I thought would be so cool. It was like melee Moonkin build where like it probably would play kind of like enhanced shaman where you're still using spells, but you're also able to like white swing with weapons, and I think that would be a lot of fun. Oh, I'm out of my totem range. I should I'm not used to having the, with this spec you don't have the increased where is it? Increased totem range. Now that enhancement will be viable, I don't know if I'll go feral or enhancement. Which one do you prefer personally? You had to play it a bunch. If you truly just like melee, I think enhance is a little bit more, probably a little more fun. However, if you like being able to like switch forms or do a lot of different, like kind of more functional stuff, then I would say Druid for sure. I like Druid just because like you feel so different when you go into the different roles. There was a Blizzard's post saying that weapon skill won't be an issue at higher levels, so rolling Orc and Human won't be necessary. Oh, I love that. That's a good idea. That's kind of interesting, though. I wonder now if people are like going to, if like less people will play those specifically for that. Like Orc, obviously, still is amazing, but why would I not play a gnome for PvP? For like warrior, right? For PvP and getting out of slows, like that's really big. Or even a dwarf for stone form. Like those things seem a lot stronger now. I haven't done like any of these. Yeah, I like hybrid spec of the druid to be able to DPS off tank and heal. Yeah, just like it makes you less like feel like you don't have to see, this is a problem. This warlock is just like kind of pulling everything, which is fine, but I don't have a taunt, so like when this happens, it's hard for me to. Because normally you want to be able to open up with your chain lightning, because that will just at least give you enough time to gather them up, and then you can fire Nova. Nice. But yeah, with hybrid specs, I like to be able to play different. Like for example, I can come in here and mess around and tank, and then later I can spec a resto for healing a raid, right? Do we know anything? Do we know everything about SOD yet? Like all the enhancement enchantments have been linked? No, so like these should be all the ones at 25. There's a chance that there's other ones out there for level 25, but we definitely don't know the higher level ones. Okay, so we do know all the ones we've been playing with at the start. What class is looking to be the best parsing for you? I'd say Hunter and Hunter and Paladin seem really strong, especially from just looking at them in like S-Fan stream. But that's not. They said they might. Someone said they might still be doing some tuning on abilities and everything. So it's just kind of a shot in the dark. You got to just play what you think is going to be the most fun, I'd say. What do you think of Savage Roar for Ferals? It's interesting. The interesting thing about Savage Roar is if it stays on you when you shift, right? Because power shifting is such a big part of the feral rotation right now that if you can't shift because you'll lose that buff, then it's going to just be like a DPS question. Like, do I do more DPS staying in cat form with Savage Roar up, or do I do more DPS shifting, you know? And maybe that's Blizzard's intention is to get rid of power shifting, or maybe it's their intention to give more options for players who want to use a rune and do something different. So we'll have to see. I don't know if this guy knows how to start it. But yeah, I think it seems like a big part of SOD is them trying to give players options of playing specs differently. So I would assume that's kind of their direction with some of the stuff with Feral. Warrior is going to be the best parsing at 60, no doubt. I agree, Hunter and Pally for 25. Yeah, and I think Warriors. I have no problem with Warriors still being the top DPS. I just think that they need to be much closer to other players, and that other players who play really well should be able to still beat out a Warrior. But like in general, if Warrior is still kind of number one, I wouldn't have a huge issue with that, just because like what else does a Warrior get to do, right? Warrior is not very good in solo or in like open world solo situations. They really rely on a group. You're basically playing the class to do. I did not mean to drop that. You're playing the class to do damage essentially. So I'm not like upset about them being number one. I just don't want them to be number one by such a margin that everyone thinks they need to play them, and you know. They gave Warriors no exciting abilities, really. Yeah, and they might be waiting. Like, the charge stuff at that level is really nice, but they also just might be waiting because later on in the game, it might be one of those things that if they give all the really good stuff to Warriors right now, it's going to be way too much. Was hoping to see Blade Storm, Shockwave, Heroic Leap. Yeah. I don't know, man. When you get into the range of like Heroic Leap and stuff like that, it's similar to like giving Rogue Shadow Step or or Hunters like Disengage. You just start introducing a lot of like flee or gap closer mechanics, and then it gets a little worrisome for balancing on a whole. But I agree, it'd be nice for Warriors to get a little bit more love with exciting abilities, not just some that increase their damage or something like that. We're kind of fine as is. Yeah, I feel like if they just did nothing, they would be good still, but it would be nice to see them get some more tank specific stuff with the shield to kind of reward those players that enjoy that playstyle. They gave Druid a Wind Fairy type of rune for Alliance Druids, I guess. Yeah, I also feel like they should have given that to them at later content. Like, they should have given them that at level 40. But that's just my opinion. Shamans won't even have Wind Fairy, so it's kind of weird. I don't think they mentioned Shadow Priest much. That's my go-to. I think they'll have awesome stuff later in the game. Yeah, I mean, like once they have Shadow form, I think you'll see more Shadow Priest, like really strong Shadow Priest. Like Shadow Priest is already really strong, right? But I think you'll see even better ones later. Are there going to be new SOD servers? Yeah, they won't be on like there'll be like a new launch of servers. Excuse me, guys. I feel like adding heroic leap, etc. type abilities will ruin the feel of classic combat. Yeah, I think there's like the simplicity of like rock paper scissors of classic 2 is kind of nice. Like, oh, when this person charges me, I'm going to blink, and then it's like as soon as you start getting into the weeds of like everyone has all these different movement abilities and blah blah blah, and it's kind of like I don't know, that worries me a little bit. At least it gives incentive for people to make alts. Yeah, all the different abilities, especially since we won't know them all at the beginning, is definitely nice. Put Warbringer, but charge can't be used in combat, so it's literally just intervening and breaks roots every 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty nice though for warriors. Like once they get their full toolkit, not as much at 25 because they don't have, they don't have Zerker stance or anything like that. Warbringer lets him charge in combat. Oh, okay, that's nice then. Yeah, then that makes that really worth it. I am using Eskander's Right Claw. There's definitely a lot of better weapons out there, but it's the one I have right now, and the chance on hit is actually pretty nice. Because you're relying so much on your white damage with Rockbiter to generate threat. And so the faster attack speed is pretty nice when it does activate. I don't know why this guy's in bear form right now, though. There we go. See, if I get all these buffs up, like, my attack speed is so unbelievably fast. I'm curious to see how much they change gear at level 60, though. Because obviously, like, right now, if you want to, like, Shaman Tank or something, you're getting, like, some very just random off pieces that you can get from certain bosses, but it's never, like... It's not like the tier set, right? And you don't get any set bonuses for the things that you want. So it'd be cool to see if they take, like, you know, tier 1, and then they have it so that it has the stats you want for the spec that you want to play, but also it has some really good set bonuses. That'd be cool. I'm pretty excited about the feral moonfire spec at level 25, just because of the movement speed and everything like that. But then also, I probably will play some kind of resto spec when I'm playing with friends or something. Maybe I can get away. I think I can get away with just switching over runes and having some intellect gear. Should be good enough. Those guys do so much fire damage. Do I think Sunfire will be better at Mangle at 25? I think it just has its places, I guess. Like, I think it's gonna be like, just testing, you know? Like, it might be one of those things that Mangle is only a little bit better than Claw. So, for example, when I'm playing Druid and I'm leveling, there's times where it's worth to put on Rip because you've learned a good enough rank of Rip recently, and then there's other times that it's better to just spam Claw, right? So sometimes it's not worth it to even put your bleeds up because they're not doing enough damage. So then the multiplier with bleeds with Mangle, does it make it worth? Is it still not worth? Who knows? And then also it's like, well, the Moonfire ability, the Sunfire ability, I can use at range, like at a further range than Mangle. So I don't know. We'll just have to test some stuff and see how things play out. And then also one thing that we aren't we aren't talking about is like maybe the mangle ability is very hard to find the rune for it, you know, or it requires a lot of steps or something like that. So we just might not have it for a while. That's another thing to think about. Is a lot of people are saying like, oh, I'm gonna play with this rune, and that rune, and it's like you might not have them for a while. You know, it could take a while. This room is a living nightmare with me trying to tank this. I don't really have anything for them. Come in to hear the latest drama from the community. I think you're at the wrong spot, man. I don't really have much community drama to weigh in on here. We're gonna start getting respawns too. Here's one, here's one. The shield definitely makes things easier, but still a pain. Okay, we gotta relay our totems because we don't want to pull with the totems. Looks like they have some people over there. Shit. Let's just get some healing aggro, I guess, right? All good, love the content. Thanks, man. One thing I will say that I have noticed about everything with Season of Discovery is just how, like, pissed everyone is with everything. Like, I feel like no one's happy with the direction of things, and it's like, I don't know, right before BlizzCon, everyone was just saying, like, Blizzard's not going to make any changes, like, you guys are out of your mind, blah, blah, and then they make some changes, and everyone's like, these changes are so stupid, like, what were you thinking? And it's like, well, like, what are they supposed to do? Like, listen to just everyone in the community? Like, no one's ever going to be happy that way. People have a lot of different ideas when it comes to, like, how they themselves would improve the game, so I don't know. I feel like beggars can't be choosers. You gotta, if they're gonna make changes, you gotta be okay with some of the changes that they are testing or trying to do. Oh. Okay, who can loot it? There we go. Yeah, it is very spicy over on the forums. Like, I just, I don't know. Like, and the thing is, a lot of people that, and like, there has to be casual players in the game, right? Like, to make a game, like, to have a MMO, like, not everyone is playing the game all the time, but you have people on the forums that are like casual players, that they'll just say something that they want to see in the game, and they'll just be like, man, I really love transmog from retail. Like, it's gross that it's not in the game or something like that. And it's like, good. Everyone has such different ideas of what makes the game fun and what they enjoy about the game. And so for me, seeing things like that, it's like, it shows you just how different opinions people, like, just how different everyone is in what they want to see in the game, and how Blizzard's never going to make everyone happy. So I personally have some complaints with Season of Discovery, right? But I'm just going to play it, see how it is, see if it's fun. It looks fun, and I'm just happy that they're actually trying something. Am I sure that Inferno robes are going to be available at 25? I can do a little bit more digging, but yeah, I really thought that they were available. I had a few comments saying like they think that they're only available in TBC, or that the item might have been changed. But according to Wowhead and stuff, it's still showing that everything's there. So I'm not really sure actually. Also, one thing I will note, that sometimes there's quests that you can't pick up until you're a higher level, but you can share them to lower levels. And so it might be one of those things that, like, if someone was higher level, they could share it, but there won't be higher levels. So, because I feel like that quest is like a wanted poster. Like, I feel like you don't even pick it up from a normal person. Found a comment from 2019 where a guy said the quest didn't show up at 34. It did show at 35. Might not be able to. And that's a big piece. If you can get that, that's a huge piece. 23 fire damage. Like, the goggles is 21. Community. We want classes to be more balanced and inclusive. Mage healers and rogue tanks. Yeah, I mean, like, I personally am not too thrilled with some of the things they've done. Like, I think mage heal is kind of weird, and the warlock tank makes a little bit more sense to me, but I don't know. I'm just not gonna complain until I kind of have played the game and see how it plays. And also, even if it's not exactly what I want, I'm just happy to be able to play a game that has, you know, new things to discover, new ways of playing. All that stuff is fun to me. I'm down for playing with you if you plan on giving us a server information or guild. Yeah, I mean, like, I am a horrible... what's the best way of putting this? I am not the type of person to run a guild or do anything like that. So I want to find a guild and be a part of it, and then I'd love it if like any of you guys are looking for communities to come over to said guild as well. I don't really like to be like, I'm not one of those people that's like a in the spotlight kind of thing, like, ooh, it's all about me and my guild and everyone funnels loot to me and everything. Like, when I play WoW and I'm not streaming or whatever, I am very much just doing my own thing. I'm not really like, I'm not even one of those people that hangs out in Discord servers and just chats with their guildies all day. I'm kind of just do my own thing. But I'd love it if I could play with a lot of you guys and we could group up for PvP, because I think PvP is going to be a lot of fun in the world, and it's always fun to find some people that are also into PvP that you can like pocket heal or you know, coordinate some stuff with. That's always fun. Wondering how much of a grind it will be to farm out Warsong Gulch for gear. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. A lone wolf? Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, that's why I like Druid, honestly, because when I go out in PvP, I'm able to kind of, I don't know, like, for example, if you like to play all by yourself, you probably wouldn't want to play like a warrior, right? But like, if you have the solo mentality, um, Druid is pretty nice for that. But also the cool thing is Druid plays really well with others too. But I'm hoping the PvP gear is equivalent to the BFD gear, so you can either PvE or PvP. Yeah, I think it will probably be similar. The stats probably will be just a little different. Like, you're probably not going to get any hit gear in PvP. You're probably not going to get any gear that has like, you'll probably get gear that has a little bit more offensive stats on the PvE gear, and then you'll probably get more stamina on the PvP gear, kind of how they've done it in the past. Right, and that's okay. I'm the same way. Make sure you give us updates when you're going, or if you have a Discord, I will join and go from there. Yeah, for sure. I need to set up a Discord just so we have a place that we can share links and chat and stuff like that. I'm not excited for the changes, but who knows? The mage healer might maybe a joke and just have light heals or off heals. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things too that it's really easy to complain about things, and I'm guilty of that too. But like, before we've even got the chance to like play the game, we probably should play before we get too upset about certain things. Plus, my main thing with the class balance stuff is when I'm tanking this dungeon, right? We're all sitting and drinking all the time. We're having to kind of pull strategically. We just have to deal with stuff differently than we would in retail or in even Wrath. And I just don't want the abilities to just trivialize stuff and make things pretty easy, right? Like, that's just my big concern. I probably should have thrown on some more mitigation gear for this fight. %48 avoidance. This guy just hits pretty hard. Oh my gosh, it dropped. What do I get rid of? Let's drink a potion, I guess. I could have drank a noggin fogger. Hey, I got it. Holy shit. Big. This add-on is called OP. It's like spelled different though. It's it's just like this. OPI. The dev mentioned that if trivial content because of runes, they can make everything harder. Yeah. I heard I remember hearing that or reading it, whatever it was. So I like that, but I guess my concern is just more the fact that you run into the issue with like even if the content is harder in terms of the damage and stuff, I just want it to kind of still feel like you're playing classic. But I don't know. Again, that's one of those weird concerns where it's like you're like complaining about something where who knows, I haven't even played it yet, so I should probably just wait and see. Let's see, what should we do? I wonder if I should just like get a mongoose or something.
Blood and thunder.
Every time you tell someone that you'll tank, they're like, a shaman tank? Like, do you know what you're doing? Do you have good gear? What's going on? This is a good idea. Let's put a few things in the bank. Okay.
Farewell.
All right. Gonna grab arcane crystal. Jeez. Man, I thought honestly, I thought with announcement for Season of Discovery, prices would go down. So expensive. So expensive. I mean, like, I feel like it's worth it just to get it on cooldown. Did Blizz confirm that Paladin utility would be provided to Horde in the form of runes as well? They, yeah, more or less, they hinted at it, but we haven't really seen, any good stuff for Shamans that crossover from a Paladin. So it might just be at the higher levels that we start to see that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. This is kind of my thoughts on that. Probably wait and see, but who knows? Can't be certain. You've been blessed by the algorithm gods. Keep up the good videos. Thanks, man. What server? So this server is White Main. It's like the White Main server cluster or whatever. And it's just on Classic Era. Just tanking on Classic Era for now, having some fun, and talking about Season of Discovery. And then obviously when Season of Discovery comes out, that's all I'm going to be playing. I probably will still get on Wednesday. On Wednesdays just to raid Nax. But that's about it. I'm curious as to their seeming disinterest in making Pallies Shamans both factions. I don't know actually. They have so many like big changes with Season of Discovery. I don't think it would have been the worst thing for like it wouldn't have been such a terrible thing for them to do that. However, they might just feel that I don't know. They might just feel that it was better this way, that they don't like move away from. I don't know. I was gonna say move away from like the classic feel, but like they've already been doing that with all the new abilities. So I don't know. I guess that's one thing that sets classic apart is the fact that Pallies and Shamans are on their own servers, or I mean on their own factions. So maybe that's why. 34 gold. Let's just have my one. Need to buy. Well, I'll just buy the rep food. Also super curious about how swappable runes will be. Will they just be swappable out of combat or in a rested area? Or will they be respect like talents? It sounds to me like they will be fully like it's just a combat thing. So you drop combat, who knows if there's like a time between being out of combat and switching. Hopefully they're like I would say like 15 seconds would be nice. But yeah, I think you can just switch them. I don't think there's anything crazy. Yeah, I mean, I guess Tarns, but that is a little bit of a... Actually, I don't want to be here. I want to be over here. Tarn as a retail thing, still stupid. Yeah, it doesn't really fit the vibe for me, and like I feel like you could almost make a better, you could make a weird like undead thing, right? Where it's like they used to be human, like a human paladin, and then they're like, I don't know, something like that. But that makes a little bit more sense, but it'd still be weird, but it'd be kind of cool too. It's like the idea of an undead priest, you know, it's like more of like shadow priest kind of vibes. Um, but I don't know. The Tarn thing doesn't. The Tarn thing adds up for like more nature stuff, like druids and shamans. But holy, like a holy Tarn, is kind of different. Why not just add? Why not add troll druid? I mean, I'd like that just because it would give some variety in terms of what you can play for druid race combos. But then the problem is Alliance isn't really going to have good option, and also I still think I'd play Tauren just because War Stomp is so nice to be able to get a cast off. Swappable out of combat would be beautiful. Yeah, the only thing that we kind of discussed in the stream yesterday is the fact that if you can swap in combat or outside of combat, what's to stop someone from like rocket helming you, dropping combat and switching, or sheeping you, dropping combat and switching, or feign deathing and dropping combat and switching. So all those things are just something that Blizzard has to think about when it comes to balancing. I just like the way Tarns look. I like the way Tarns look when they're just like, I don't know if this makes sense, but I like Tarns just like standing still or casting or anything. But like Tarns, I don't like the way Tarns look on mounts. They're just way too big, and yeah. So I mean, like I prefer the smaller races for like getting around in the world and just like movement stuff. Um, but yeah, Tarn look pretty cool. Yes, I'm gonna. Yeah, definitely play a druid for Season of Discovery. That'll be the first thing I roll. Um, I think druid is gonna be a lot of fun. They're gonna keep weapon skill the same. So someone earlier today told us that Blizzard had stated that weapon skill isn't going to matter to the same amount in Season of Discovery. So like, you don't really need to go orc or human for those bonuses for PvE. So I guess we'll see what they do with that. I think Night Elf has better animations for casting and jumping. Yeah, I really like female Night Elf casting animations. Like the Wrath casting animation, I think is really cool, with like the foot up and standing to the side kind of thing. I think I'm gonna play Druid as well. You going more balanced or hard feral? I think I'm gonna be switching between. Like we just gotta see. I think at level 40, balance with Moon Conform is gonna be a lot of fun. I have a feeling that the level 40 content for both Shadow Priest and Balanced Druid are gonna be like, people are gonna be like, man, I should have played a Druid, you know, and then they're gonna switch. And then later in the game, I don't know as much. I think at level 25, Feral is gonna be probably a little bit more fun, just with the, especially with the speed bonus out in the world. You wish they kept the weapon skill? Yeah, I'm interested to see what they mean by like it's not going to matter. Like it might still be in the game, but maybe they just tweak the way, because like otherwise you're just like feel like you need to buy Edge Masters or so I don't know. We'll see. S Priest looking light. I think Shadow Priest is going to get a lot of really good runes at level 40. Right now, it wouldn't make sense to add a shadow, like a rune for like shadow form or something, because you don't have it yet. Weapon skill is cool. Needing 305 is not, forces you to play. Yeah, I just don't think it's a it's just a mechanic that is kind of frustrating for people that want to play more, like they want to play a race based off of like the race lore or the way the character looks, and they feel like they're just like pigeonholed because of, you know, the 305 stuff. Or if they, God forbid, they want to play like a dwarf warrior or a gnome warrior, then they're getting like edgies, or they're playing daggers and having like the MC leather gloves, or, you know, they just have to play around certain things, which is kind of annoying. Definitely rolling tank shaman for horde and balanced druid for alliance. Nice. That's kind of the play. One on each side. I think shaman tank is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, shaman tank, even now in era, when you get the right kind of gear, it's fun. Shaman tank in era is definitely more of like a later game kind of thing. But I mean, I can get some crazy, like, this is without my avoidance gear, but if I have my avoidance gear on, I can get like I can get some crazy, like these pants. I get 3% dodge right there. I can get like then when I drop Grace of Air Totem, I have like, I think like close to 30% dodge with all the right items on and everything, which is just pretty huge, because you got to realize like like dodge is like complete mitigation, right? Oh yeah, and here's this cloak. So if I'm playing like crazy mitigation build, I don't take a whole lot of damage. It's pretty nice. It's just a threat thing at that point, right? You're like sacrificing so much damage for all this mitigation, so that's the part you got to be careful about. I don't know whether I may make a warrior or rogue. I'd be excited to play human because of the web skill. Yeah, I mean, if you're on alliance side, you might be more incentivized, honestly, to play different races now than human. You're talking like PvP standpoint. If weapon skill doesn't really matter, like perception is obviously nice for certain situations, but I think like escape artists or stone form would be really, really strong. Also, if you play Boomy Resto, do you have 3 dots now with Sunfire? That's what I was a little confused on. I think it's taking the place of your Moonfire, so that you now no longer have. I guess we could read it. We could read it in an entirety to see. One. Um, burns enemy, nature damage. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. Oh, this spell benefits from and triggers all effects associated with Moonfire. But it doesn't say it your Moonfire is replaced with Sunfire. But that says in addition while in bear and cat form. So it's like when you're in caster form, do you keep it? I don't know. It's a little bit, it's a little vague. Like your Moonfire is replaced, because it says while in bear form, cat form, and dire bear form, your Moonfire is replaced with Sunfire. So I think that in caster form you have both options, but in bear and cat you only can use Sunfire. So where do I see this chart? If you look at second, let's do this real fast. Go links for all classes. If you go to this video that I posted, you can click on the different links down below and it'll have every single class. Also, if you want to, there's some on Wowhead that are kind of in a different format, and then there's also some that have just been posted to the WoW Classic subreddit. I always forget which guy sells the food. It's like one of
Light be with you, or the Alliance. For you.
isn't it?
Welcome.
Yeah, here. Okay.
Keep your feet on the ground.
True, you can also do that. Go to 60 upgrades, and then it will show you your different runes. That might be the best way to do it, because then you can kind of see. It's 60upgrades.com/SOD. And then once you create a character, you can go to their talents, and it'll be on the right side of the character. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to keep the endgame meta somewhat on par with what it was originally. I bet warriors and rogues still are on the top, and maybe like 10% rather than 30. Yeah, and I'd be okay with that too, because like you have to give us like what's the point of playing a warrior if you're not top DPS anymore, and other classes can tank. Like you have to give warriors something. Like warriors are a very like simple class in terms of what they can do, and like all of their abilities are fairly like one-dimensional in terms of dealing with like their weapon attacks and stuff. So it's like I feel like you have to give them an edge or a reason for someone to play a warrior, right? Like people play mages because they know that they're going to be able to gold farm on their own. They're going to be able to do a lot of solo content, and they still do pretty good damage. Plus, they have like food and water and a lot of utility like that. But if all of a sudden you make it so that warriors are like, you know, 4th or 5th highest DPS, like unless you have like a really big warrior fan who just loves the class, most people who played warrior are just going to go something different. So, and you already see that with gameplay and in classic now. It's like as soon as we heard about Season of Discovery, like a lot of people were like, oh, this class sounds like it's going to be super OP, I'm going to play this. So there's tons of people out there that don't really care too much about what class they play. It's more that they just want to play something that's strong. Oh, I should have got grenades, guys. This was stupid. There's nothing I can do to compete with that fully geared fire mage. Oh, my scene is still the runes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Photoshop. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but I don't have any. I don't have any spots there. Take those. You're rolling priest mainly because Resto Druid looks like it has some same healing kit. Yeah, I mean, true. This guy needs to not pull, otherwise he's gonna have a bad time. Oh no 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 no. Shamans will have a Wind Fairy Totem, they just don't have it at the level 25 bracket. They will be getting it at level 30. Actually, they get Wind Fairy Weapon at 30. I think actually Totem's a little higher too. I think I need more DPS. Only thing you dislike is that Druid's got Wind Fury for ally. Yeah, and it's gonna feel like it feels like necessary to have it now, which is a bummer. What did Horde get from Alliance? Literally nothing right now. Like, I think later on they'll get something, but at the moment, yeah, it's kind of crap. Gotta go again. Have a good stream. See you, man. Happy birthday again. Salve, I believe. Yeah, I mean, they'll probably get... They might get something like Salve. The other... I kind of left them to their own devices there, but... the other thing that they also get is probably going to get some kind of like pally utility, right? Like pallies have freedom, they have bop, they have lay on hands. They like lay on hands is kind of their NS, I guess, but they have a lot of different things that Blizzard could pull from. I'd hope that they'd give Shamans one of those things. Can't decide if you want to play Lock or Shadow Priest. Just depends. Like the cool thing about those two classes that you can think of is, at least this is what I'd look at, is like, do you want to be able to play DPS and then sometimes play tank, or do you want to play DPS and sometimes play healer? That's kind of how I'd make that choice. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of locks, true. That is a good point. But I also think that like locks, there's going to be a lot of people that play locks that aren't like playing the game seriously, if that makes sense. Like they're just there to check out Season Mastery. That class sounds the most exciting, so that's what they end up playing. But I could see those players not lasting as long, or maybe not hitting max level, and so it might be more balanced than we actually think in the end. We're holding threat pretty good. I mean, this mage is completely bis. He's got Etish and everything. I mean, not that the mage would really be the one. Probably be the warrior we're more worried about. Chaos Bolt for locks, yeah, that'll be a crazy one for sure. I mean, warlocks get Chaos Bolts. Ellie Shamans get Lava Burst. Like, it'll be interesting to see how they, like, because obviously they will have to have other classes with similar strengths. Otherwise, it's going to just be so broken. So we'll have to see what they do. I think balanced druid's gonna be a lot of fun at 40, guys. I'm pretty excited about that, especially if we could get our hands on some really good gear pieces in the new raids. Who knows what they'll have. Yeah, I did see the poll, and druids were #1. I think it's because people think like So what's the idea with Classic Plus, right? It's people talking about the fact that these classes are going to get changes, right? And what is the one class that people always want changes for? Druids, and then closely followed by paladins and shamans. And so it's no doubt that all those are kind of the ones that I feel are the most popular with players. Because probably a lot of people like those classes, but they just feel like they're kind of weak. But I think people are going to still be... People are going to be disappointed in Shaman and Druid and Paladin abilities to just like be gods, because I still think that they have to pay the hybrid tax, you know, of being able to do so much. They don't want them to be just like the strongest at DPS. So I don't think they're just going to be like kings of DPS. They'll still probably be similar to how they are. Rogues popping off. I wonder if they plan on to add Shaman to Alliance and Paladins to Horde eventually. Maybe they would take Windfury from Druid at that point. Yeah, we'll have to see. Almost every class is hybrid. I mean, that's a good point too. Like so many of the classes, like you'll be able to play a hybrid mage, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. That to me is like the very valid concern that people have is like the classes are getting too far away from that like classic feel. That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about. It's like having all these crazy abilities is fun, sure, but all of a sudden they get to the point where like everyone, if everyone owned a Ferrari, that would be fun, right? Like it'd be fun to own a Ferrari, but then as soon as everyone has a Ferrari, it just becomes kind of like, okay, everyone has a Ferrari, I want a Honda. So sometimes everyone being OP just makes it less fun, actually. Seal of Commander with Windfury, easy one shot. Yeah, or Windfury with Reckoning. That's crazy too. Warlock tanks are just bears that can cast spells. Yeah, the armor addition to warlocks and stuff is going to be pretty crazy. Everyone OP equals no one's OP. That's just power creep. Exactly, but not only is it just like, so we already have to deal with issues of people like getting one shot at high levels in Classic. Like, for example, if I'm playing Ellie, I can one shot people, right, with crits. So I don't know how they're gonna balance stuff at the higher levels, but then not only does that matter, but like if everyone just has like a crazy toolkit and stuff, then they're gonna have to do so much tuning to bosses and dungeons and all that kind of stuff that who knows if it really feels like I did classic raiding in Wrath content. Like, I know that sounds funny, but It was like a guild back in the day called Screams of the Past. It was kind of like one of those OG, like, I miss vanilla kind of guilds. And with the new talent points and everything, and just the reworking of all the classes, you could do like 40-man AQ with like 15, 20 level 60s. You know, so it's like that's the big issue that I see happening. Level 16 Wrath as well. Yeah, it was tons of fun. It just definitely it starts to feel less like classic. Was fun but OP. Yeah. And that's what I wonder about classic. It might be tons of fun, but you might just feel super OP, which might be fine for what it is, but we'll just have to wait and see. Reworked encounters would be nice. Imagine remastered 10-man BRD. Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. It'll just be interesting to see how far Blizzard goes with like really making changes, and maybe that's just kind of how the first phases go. Like if phase 1 they have a insane amount of players, they may feel that it's worth their time investment and like the investment that Blizzard as a company will get in terms of like revenue to kind of make more changes. Whereas if season 1 is really not received well, they might just not put as much into the later portion of the game. Did you read the new Wowhead interview? If it came out today, then no. Don't see Rogue main tanking hard content. Yeah, I think tanks will like tanks in 40-man raids at level 60. I think will be more like situational. And you know what? I actually was thinking about just in this conversation. They honestly, what they could do, it's kind of like easy mode for Blizzard, but it's also more loot for the players, and also could be a fun way of doing things. Is they could not scale. Don't rescale the 40-man dungeons, but just make them 20 players, you know? So you have half as many players. All the encounters, everything still works the same, but you just have half as many players. That could be one way of doing it too, if players are like that much stronger. I don't think main DPS players are interested in their classes being able to tank. Yeah, I don't think people are necessarily interested in that. It's more of just like a quality of life thing for groups and stuff to be able to form easier. I think dual wield Shaman Tank is doable. You might need to in certain fights for threat, if threat's kind of hard to maintain, but with how shocks work and everything, I think you can get away with just using a shield the whole time. So you might just kind of be hamstringing yourself if you go that route. This mage just pumping. Did I see anything about Arms Warrior? Most of the arm stuff is kind of just like two-handed. It seems more like two-handed fury stuff. I think most of the arms runes and changes that you'll see for warrior will probably come at the later levels with like because arms kind of definitely get stronger as time goes on. Yeah, the 30% haste will be nice. We'll see how they fare as the game goes on. I don't think you'll see much Arms Warrior stuff early game. I think those will be the runes that you see a little bit later. Because I don't play Warrior, but correct me if I'm wrong, most people don't really play Arms anyways until you would get Mortal Strike. You just kind of play like a Fury build or something. Or till you get like the weapon specializations or something like that. The next cap after 25 will be 40, then 50, then 60. So there's 4 phases total. Two-handed Fury till 40, yeah. So that's my point. I just think they don't have really that many runes in for them yet because there's not really much incentive for people to play that. It's kind of like how we don't see Shadow Priest runes, like specifically for like Shadow Form and stuff, because they don't exist. I keep getting resisted on my shock, which generates so much of my threat. Do I know anything about the timeline? It sounds like we have no idea for the other phases, but it sounds to me like first phase is at least going to be like at least a month, but probably not more than like 2, because it sounded like they were talking in weeks, but then when someone said like, oh, like 3 weeks or something, they're like, no, at least a month. So I would say probably like a month and a half, 2 months. I think Blizzard is intentionally kind of leaving it open because they want to be able to kind of play with the dates that things are launched or released, I should say, because they're probably going to go based on like if like people are eating up the level 25 content and they're having tons and tons of fun and they're not having any like player drop off, then why would they release the next content yet, you know? But I think they're going to kind of go off that. Four weeks at 25 is quite boring. I don't know. They have a lot of content that they're adding in, so we might find that there's a lot of stuff to do. But again, like I'm saying, if Blizzard feels like there's a big fall off with players, they probably will release it sooner, you know? See, like right now, after this knockdown, I would be able to taunt as another class, but I can't taunt, so I just... If I get behind in threat and stuff, it's very hard to pull something off me. Or to pull something off of someone else, I should say. I feel like the play is just let him AoE. Dual wield is stupid without plus hit. Maybe they'll change their hit reliance on offhand damage. Yeah, I could see them messing around with some of the stuff like that, making it so maybe dual wield classes don't need quite as much hit. I mean, you saw that shamans get the hit bonus, so I don't know. feel like most serious players are going to have multiple classes at 25 within a week or so. Yeah, I mean, like, you'll be able to get level 25 on your first character. If you just no life it, you'll be able to get it in, like, well, I go back to, like, I did a hardcore tournament, and it was a 10-hour tournament, and it was just to see who could get the highest level. I was able to get level 17 in 10 hours. So I think most people will be able to get to 25 within, like, their first play session, if they are, like, playing a ton, like, no lifing, you know. Thoughts on dual spec? I could see them adding it. It would be nice. I actually don't care if they don't add dual spec. I don't really care as long as they just make respecking really cheap. Like, if respecking at doesn't ever get up to 50 gold, like, let's say the most expensive it is 10 gold, like 5 or 10 gold, I'm okay with that. I feel like with dual spec, the only problem that you run into is, like, so much swapping of things just in rating in rating environments that would make it kind of rough. Yeah, on hardcore you can't death skip and you have to play more passive. Yeah, exactly. So I think most people would be able to zoom pretty quick. They said they'll make respec cheaper. Yeah, I'm excited that I'm excited about the respec thing. I think if they make the respec cheap enough, then the dual spec doesn't really matter as much. But I know a lot of players want it, so I'm more neutral about it. I don't really care too much.
What are you looking for? For the Horde.
I'll be playing Druid as my main for sure. I'll have a Shaman, but Druid's my kind of what I'm going to be focusing on. On hardcore add-on, 10 hours played for 1 to 20 was an achievement, I think. Yeah, so that's what my point is like 1 to 20 in 10 hours is, like, very quick, and you shouldn't assume that you would get that, but, like, let's say 1 to 20 in, like, 12 hours, that's kind of like a little bit closer to what you can expect. The play could also be to dungeon spam and save quests for level 25, since quest it gives you more gold. I mean, that's true too. That's my fear, Nick, though. That's my fear, Nick, is, like, you start getting people, like, overcomplicating things, you know? Like, I do the same thing too, trust me. I'm not, like, saying that I don't, but it's like, for example, people were, like, in classic era, right? In 2019, people were, like, finding, like, perfect routes from, like, 1 to 10 or something, or, like, get out in front of the pack. But then if you look at, like, the lifespan of classic, it's like I had people in my raid that no lifed the first week, and then they played the game like crazy for, like, a month or so, and then they quit the game, we filled their spot with a brand new level 60, and then that level 60 was more geared and more progressed than that person was in like a few weeks, you know? So it's like no lifing in an MMO, it like it can be fun. I get it, but like at level 25, you know lifing to get a little bit of extra gold won't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So if that's what you like to do playstyle wise and you don't get burnt out on that, then by all means go for it. But I think some people that like min max to the nth degree, they end up just burning out and quitting the game. And then those other people that were kind of like just doing their thing, having fun, then they're just like still in the game and they're actually further along. So will Resto Druid with Sunfire and improved Wrath and Nature Dam gear be okay for PvP? Yeah, I mean we'll have to wait and see. That's the thing with all the classes, guys. Is you look at Druid's kit and you're like, oh, cool, we get a new Moonfire ability. We get that Star Surge or whatever it was called, the arcane damage ability. Like, oh, we're gonna be doing more damage, and then you look at warlocks and they get Chaos Bolt. You look at fire mages and they get 15% crit and they get Living Bomb, and you look at you look at frost mages and they get Ice Lance and Fingers of Frost. So it's like it's all relative, right? If you get a huge buff and you're like, oh, my class is gonna be so strong and so overpowered, and then you look at the class next to you and they're getting equally as strong of buffs, or maybe they even have a few abilities that seem like they're going to even be better, then it's like it's a wash, right? So we'll just have to see and kind of play through things. And I think they did a good job choosing the name Season of Discovery, because it's definitely just going to be a lot of people trying to min max and figure out what's good. And oh, this class I thought was going to be good and now it sucks, and then they re-roll and then they realize that if they had stayed on the class that they originally played, now in phase 2 at level 40, their class is amazing. So we'll just have to wait and see. For example, one of the biggest things that players in Classic know is like hunters. While hunters are leveling up, hunters are amazing, right? Hunters can basically 1v1 anyone in PvP situations while leveling up. And then once you get to level like 60 and you start getting gear, your pet damage starts falling off and you don't scale as well as other classes. And so late game level 60 PvP, hunters still have a place and they're still pretty good, but like you're not nearly as worried. Whereas like lower level hunter stuff is crazy. So that's just things to think about. Like level 25, one class could feel just absolutely broken, but then as you continue playing, it starts to be more kind of even, and you feel things out and you realize that as you level up, things are going to change. Just joined? Hey, what's up, man? I would really like to see some in-game rework, some items in-game rework slightly, like make a set bonus for out of Mooncloth items, etc. Yeah, I think it would be cool to see some of those consumables too for professions be utilized a little bit more with some crafting stuff. We'll have to see what Blizzard ends up going with, but yeah, that kind of stuff would be cool.
Strength and honor. Go forth to victory.
Actually, I kind of want to test something real fast. I think they were pretty right at BlizzCon when they said it's not about making warriors less OP, but about making everyone OP. Yeah. The lone wolf survival will actually fix the scaling issue at 60 though. Yeah, I mean that's why I think that hunters, even though some of their abilities their rune abilities they've gotten seem a little less than exciting, I think in the grand scheme of things, they're going to be really good. and the buffs to them. Man, there's a lot of people just out here. Shaman feels like the most shit, in your opinion. Really? I feel like Shaman looks great. I'm really excited about Shaman. You seem like you can play like a defensive build Shaman, but with offensive talents, and you'll get a lot of mana back from like anytime you block, from Shamanistic Rage, from Water Shield, all those things. Mana, if mana is still as big of a deal in Classic as it is, or in Season of Mastery, or excuse me, in Season of Discovery, if mana is as big of a deal as it is in Classic, then those kind of changes for the classes will be really good. Am I doing a chest run? Yeah, I wanted to see about how long it takes. I know there's a mob right here. I think it's fastest to just die. I want to see. I'm gonna pause it at the boat because that's like the boat doesn't really matter. Because that's just luck of the draw. I wanted to see the time if I'm level 12 and I think the play is to try and get to level 12 on a druid before you do the chest. Like if you can get lucky with when it comes out. If there's like say 2 hours, there's 2 hours between the launch and the first chest, then I'll be able to get here at level 12. But if I'm not able to get here at 12, I might just like make my shaman and try and get the first trinket on my shaman, but I don't know. I feel like Gurabashi is going to be a nightmare, guys. Like it's going to be like that trinket's so good at level 25. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it. The only caveat is like layering. Like if there's a lot of layers, then the trinket isn't as crazy. Or maybe, I mean, they're making changes. They might make it so that just like participating in Gurabashi gives you some kind of progress towards the trinket. I wouldn't mind that. That would actually be more, that'd be an incentive to actually like care about PvPing and having fun in Gurabashi. But then you just get like, maybe instead of having to participate in it and win 12 times, you have to participate in it like 24 times, but you never have to win the item. You just have to like step foot in and PvP. Guribashi is going to be what people do in their downtime in phase 1 for sure. Yeah, depending on what Warsong is like too, though, and the Ashenvale area, because people are going to want to, like, people are obviously going to want to grab the gear from the reputation stuff. Is what I'm trying to say. Main concern for Season of Discovery, if they don't have faction queues, it's going to spiral like it did in Classic. Yeah. I mean, the faction imbalance thing is definitely an issue that they're going to have to think about. Can you think of a way to make sniper training useful for hunters and PvP standings? Like AV, you definitely could make sniper training useful in like at Icewing Bunker. The Icewing Bunker is the bunker that's above, like north of Belinda. It's that first bunker north of Belinda, and it's where that hill is. And hunters, you can stand inside the, like on the edge of the bunker and shoot Alliance as they come up that hill. Alliance hunters would have a lot of options with like Dun Baldar and the bridge just kind of sitting there. So I think in PvP, the only way you could ever get away with sniper training being good would be, you know, just big group stuff where you can get away with standing still for a while. It's kind of a weird play style, but it might be worth it in a few situations, especially if you're able to change your runes at any time just outside of combat, because then you could change mid battleground if you wanted to. But we'll have to see how that works. And Night Elves can just go meld somewhere. Yeah, I think Night Elf Hunter for that reason would be kind of cool. You really are able to just like snipe someone. I wonder if it's, let's look real fast. I wanted to see if it was 6 seconds. Hunters. Where is it? Sniper training. When you have not moved in the last 6 seconds. I wonder if it's only once you're in combat, because you could just stand still outside of combat in stealth as a night elf, and then just aim shot someone for huge damage as like an opener. So I wonder if you have to be in combat for the 6 seconds to start. I think Hunter 25 build for open world PvP is Master Marks, KC, and Chimera. Let's see what's KC is. Kill command. Okay. Ability gain 30%. Not move for 60. Target hit by multi-shot. Yeah, you don't want this or this really in like open world PvP. This might have uses at times, but yeah, probably kill command is just like your best overall for legs. And then Chimera is interesting. Like, it'll be interesting to see when a hunter plays with either explosive or Chimera and kind of like how it feels. So 6 minutes. And most of that was waiting on the boat. I think it was like, I'll have to look back on the VOD, but I think it was like 1 minute something to get there. Because like one of the big things about running, or like the slow stuff about Druid early levels, is like the Bear Farm quest involves a lot of running. So you have to plan out like when you Hearthstone and things like that. And the other thing that sucks when it comes to leveling for Tauren Druid is that run from Mulgore up through Camp Darjo all the way to Crossroads. So like, yeah. Doing the math on Chimera versus Explosive, it's really close, but Chimera gives you an option for disarm. Be really good against other hunters. True, yeah. I mean, Chimera is still 8 seconds CD. See, that's the important thing too. Is like, I think, what's her name? I think Fandy streamed herself playing. I know she played a druid because I was looking at her feral stuff, and then I think she played a hunter after that. Maybe she has a clip of her. Let's see.
To mute or anything.
Oh, she's playing melee, like melee hunter, I think. Probably because that's what people would want to see. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, that's a big part of the all these runes is like we don't know the mana cost of things, and we don't know the cooldown on some of them. Like I was able to find out that Shamanistic Rage is only a minute cooldown for like a 12-15 second buff, which is really, really good. But the other stuff I don't know about. Like I'm not sure the cooldowns on like some of the really overpowered mage abilities or some of the hunter shots. I'm not sure about. When you disarm, do hunters lose both melee and ranged weapons? Yeah, they should lose both. Disarmed main hand. It doesn't disarm your. It doesn't disarm bow. Maybe I'm just thinking about the only thing that hunters ever have to worry about is Neff and Blackwing Lair with the class call for hunters. They only lose melee if I remember. I guess that makes sense. Do you think BFD will be available day one? My guess is yes, but server launch will be the same lockout, so as long as you do BFD within the first 3 days, you'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that it would launch with like there's going to be players that want to rush to 25, right? And I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'd have it in the game, and then you could rush with your guild to 25 and do it within the first 3 days for that lockout. So on Sony's stream, power word barrier is 3 minutes, and homunculus is 2. Okay. 3 minutes for barrier, that seems fair. Homunculus for 2 minutes is like really dependent on. In his stream, did he show kind of like how much health they had? Like, is it one of those things that in PvP you're just going to turn to the homunculi and just kill them in like 2 seconds and then just go back on the Shadow Priest? Because if that's the case, then sometimes those longer cooldowns might not even be worth it, and it might just be more of like a PvE thing. You got melee hunters now, though? Yeah, exactly. So that disarm still could come in useful for a hunter. They changed it later in WoW, but early disarm did not affect hunters. If you can disarm a hunter, they're probably already dead anyways. Yeah. Do homunculi daze? I think they do melee damage, so like if you're asking about like if the hunter's cheated and you use that, it should daze it. Because before, like, you'd have to wand him or whatever on a priest. I mean, the homunculi thing will be nice too for like eating traps, or it'll be nice for. I wonder if it drops. I wonder if like similar to like feign death, if it drops the player's target on you, because they're supposed to kind of look like you, right? They're supposed to be like, it's almost like mirror images. But maybe I'm wrong about that. It'd be interesting if it dropped like your target, because you could use it for like if someone's casting on you and they're getting close to the end of their cast and you use it and it drops target, just kind of like feign death. That'll be the interesting thing about a lot of these abilities, is like the way people come up with new ways of playing it, you know? Have some unique stuff. Okay, guys, I'm going to answer a few more questions, hang out for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to go. I need to set up a Discord. I don't really know how to do that very well, so I think I'll probably watch some videos on how to do it and try and set up a Discord that we can all be a part of, and just be in there, and easier way to send links and kind of keep up with conversations when I'm not around. They have a decent amount of HP, but you can heal them and they last until they die, and they do crazy pushback. Oh, nice, dude. I wonder if you can shield them too. I guess like if you could heal them, you should be able to shield them too. Hunter's definitely your first alt. Yeah, I think Hunter's going to be super strong. I'm very excited about Hunter, especially at the lower levels, and then at the higher levels, I think they're just going to do better overall, because historically they haven't scaled very well. So we'll see though. There's already someone in my guild named Homunculi. Homunculi has gone offline. Maining mage though? Are you gonna heal? You're just wanting to play mage for the DPS. They seem the most complete based on level 12. Yeah, I mean the Fingers of Frost, Ice Lance stuff is going to be crazy at low levels too, because a lot of players don't have ways to connect. I mean, obviously, Mage will do really, really well against Rogue and Warrior. I'm interested to see how how Mage is going to fare against like classes that have historically been kind of hard for them, like Priests and Warlocks, just because they still don't have a lot of like magic damage stuff to deal with. Fingers of Frost, yeah. Fingers of Frost, Ice Lance. That stuff's gonna be nasty. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take off. I'll be back again tomorrow. Trying to be on around the same time. Probably will post some kind of video between then and now as well. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Had some fun chatting. Answered some cool questions. You guys always I don't know, bring up good stuff. So I enjoy this. Yeah, so take care, guys.